I think if you like being out in nature and being on the land, you automatically feel a responsibility to take care of it. We're rethinking a lot of the traditional agricultural methods. I got into regenerative agriculture because I read a lot about it, and it seemed like it was a method that took care of the soil the best and also gave the best yield. We're not only taking care of the soil, we're trying to improve the soil. I think the best thing you can do with land is just let it be, but if you are going to use it, you ought to use it responsibly. This is called a broad fork, and that's what aerates the soil. So these big tines go in, and then any supplements you put in, fertilizer, compost, water, air, light, gets down in the soil. And then the tilther, and you can see it's run by a battery-powered drill. And you just run it by pulling on this cord. And that's everything right there. These two things, a little human muscle and battery-powered drill, is all of our energy needs. Some of the practices include low or no-till bed preparation. We use organic soil amendments, compost or manure, and we don't use insecticides or herbicides of any kind. We try to have companion planting with a diversified crop rotation, pollinator gardens, and we use cover crops extensively. Across the country, we get about 92% of our lettuce from California and Arizona. That is then shipped across country in big diesel trucks that run continuously day and night to keep it cold. So it could be 5, 6, 7 days old by the time you get it, and shipped from 3,000 miles away. Some people call that the 3,000-mile Caesar salad. The difference here is we are about 12 miles out of Chapel Hill. We'll bring our lettuce into table, gets there, and within a couple hours, it's at somebody's home. Certified organic, grown, picked, and delivered within hours by people who care. Cost is about 30 to 40 cents per head. In the last few decades, a quiet revolution has happened in small-scale regenerative agriculture. Organic farming pioneer Elliot Coleman reported growing $80,000 per acre, soon to be followed by Singing Frogs Farm in California and Neversink Farm in upstate New York, doing well over $100,000 per acre. Locally, Sunset Market Gardens, 10 Mothers Farm, and Wildflower Lane reported similar results. I've always, for some reason, liked being in the dirt. I think it grounds me in something that's much more real than what we encounter in a lot of the world. I think it's just a calling, and something inside you just says, I gotta give that a try.
Yeah, right there. Should I put it in the I never know. I don't know if there's enough one.
About 12 years ago, I was reading an article about farming. They said at that time the average farmer was about 60 years old. And I read that, and I was about 60. And I thought, I'm just like them, except I don't have a farm and I'm not a farmer. Why don't I get in? When everybody else is getting out at 60 or trying to get out, maybe I'll try to get in. At the time, it seemed like a good idea. In retrospect, it wasn't a good idea. It was a great idea. I live on 24 acres and decided to fence off about an acre as a start. I started selling organic certified produce to local stores, restaurants, and CSAs. I was finishing up my 7th year. A friend was helping me wrap things up. He said, I don't want to see you get out of farming because you're starting to get good at it, but you need to do it a different way because this isn't so great. And I agreed. I liked doing it, but it wasn't that much fun because you had to keep everybody on the clock. and labor is a big cost. You never know what the weather's going to do, and there's a lot of variables, and you're always kind of uptight about what's going to happen. Well, it's a little strange. I think they're going to be okay, but let's take a look just to, because it's pretty frosty.
I don't remember when the last time we had a frost like this early.
I thought about it and I said, what would happen if I took money out of the equation? Would it be a lot more fun? With that thought, I walked into Table one day. I told them I had a farm and I wanted to maybe grow food and give it to them. And they said they were looking for a farm. And I said, well, this may be the farm. I've got 2 here.
Table is committed to providing food access and nutrition education to kids in Orange County, North Carolina. 36% of kids in Orange County are on free and reduced school meals, meaning they may be food and nutrient insecure when they're not in school. One day this guy walks in with the idea that he wanted to grow food specifically for Table kids.
Table deals with kids who are hungry. When I started to read some of the literature about food scarcity, especially with kids, it really bothered me. If kids aren't getting all the meals they need, they're going to suffer now and they're going to suffer later on too. If I'm a kid, do I want to hear a bunch of adults talking about politics and economics and changing the system, which is not going to happen anytime soon? Or would I want to see adults helping me with some food?
I like to raise people. I don't know what it's called. As Jim and Table kind of embarked on this journey, it did feel like something new and scary, and we weren't sure what it was going to look like. What it looks like now is we cover his expenses so that he can grow the food for Table, and he yields so much more than we would be able to purchase otherwise from retail or even wholesale.
This year we'll probably use about $12,000 in materials, and we'll give the food groups about $120,000 in food. That's a retail cost. So it's about 10-to-1 savings.
Looks like one over here, maybe.
Our model is pretty unique. Table supplies one paid employee for about 15 to 20 hours per week. All the other labor is volunteer and unpaid. There's no corporate profit. There's no distributor's profit. There's no farm profit. There's no labor expenses. So the volunteer help is what really makes it work. I think people come out here for different reasons.
That's pretty good.
That was good. I like the flavor.
But everybody always thanks me. I thank them when they come and they thank me when they go. They want to be part of something bigger. It gives me a lot of purpose and a lot of joy and a lot of meaning. And I meet a lot of people who tell me the same things. Most of our produce goes to Table, but sometimes we have too much, and we give to other groups too.
It just makes my heart sing. You know, I love being able to share good quality produce with our families, the families that come here, because even if a person is low income, they deserve good food.
When you get to know these groups, you get to know their story. And what I found is the common denominator is all these groups sprang up to fulfill a need. And they started with 1 or 2 people just talking. Table started with a table of cookies. Porch started with people putting cans of food on somebody's porch. Iglesias is a church in Durham that started serving food to 10 people. They're now serving over 3,000. Weaver Street Market's Rounding Up program has now helped finance groups like these and others by raising over $2 million in the last 6 years.
Your total's going to be $509. Do you want to round up for Porch today? awesome.
I think all these food relief groups are doing a lot for the communities. There's definitely a need. These groups have kind of sprung up to help with that need.
It's really disturbing that in a country this wealthy we have food insecurity in such a large fraction of our population, and we need to do something to address it. Volunteering is a way to give to the community in a way that I no longer am able to do through medicine. Gardening and farming are good for the soul and potentially sources of community engagement. This country also spends more than any other country in the world on health care. If we fed people properly, we would be able to prevent a lot of the disease that we're ending up treating at great expense to not just the individuals, but to the nation itself. But we haven't, as a nation, been willing to make it our health policy to prevent these illnesses. Instead, we've spent a tremendous amount of public money on treating them.
If you take on something that's bigger than you, it tends to expand you. It's a great feeling to know that you actually did something that feels real. Any farm could do this if they join up with a group. They could get paid for their supervisory efforts, and that extra money would be guaranteed, and it could help them with the ups and downs of the marketplace. In this country, we've done this before. In World War I, we called them war gardens. In World War II, we called them victory gardens. We have people, we have land. There's no reason why we can't do it today. I think you can do the right thing and have a good time at the same time. And when you see something that's working like this, you get empowered to think about other things. You start to think outside the box, and then you realize you can think outside that box as well. I'll just keep doing this until I can't do it anymore. I'm going to die with my boots on. These food groups and many others like them are an inspiration. They offer real relief to individuals who are in need of assistance, but they're also a testament to the fact that the current system is increasingly not working for many people. Until we build a better, fairer system, groups like these will be increasingly needed. They provide a real service to the community, and any help you might offer is appreciated. You might even reach out and connect a group to a farm and start a partnership like this. It will help a lot of people. You may never meet them, but they'll be grateful. It's not that hard, and what you create may surprise you.
This is a good one here. I'm going to try that one, but you might want to see if it might be a little overripe. Yeah.
It's very subtle flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all very different, actually.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need your pre-med racks.
And doctors were seeing that they had these. Oh, did they get you?